they like the randomness of the raid. I am under the impression of like entirely get rid of scouting. They've already done a huge service to us by just allowing us to like reload the raid or super quickly, but like still, in my opinion, I'm just like, can we just get the raid we want? Like that's it. End of discussion.
I'm for like the other direction as well, where they abolish scouting and you're just no longer able to scout anymore. But I don't like that we're in the middle, where you can kind of scout a good raid now with the current changes they've had.
Mm-hmm.
But they just keep making these bad rooms a little bit less bad instead of doing what we actually want, which is let us just avoid the room.
Yeah. Now, I think it's mainly because this piece of content has just been out for a year, so like any little change is really scary for a lot of players. Which is understandable for a lot of pieces of content. In my opinion, though, I see the game as like 10 years down the road. So the game 10 years down the road. Do we still want Chambers to be this clunky mess? Now, to be fair, they've made a bunch of positive changes. I'm more so talking like, if I was talking 2 years ago, just the amount of problems there was with Chambers. I just like, can we just see through this? Can we just enlighten ourselves and realize like, hey, let's just keep this raid like really standardized and clean and a pleasant experience to just set up the raid as you want, go in, get your loot. That's it. And the rooms are fun across the board. You've made positive changes because again, like, I don't know. I just see this. I see the game 10 years down the line where we have Raid 7 out. And do we still want Chambers being as clunky as it is when everything else is getting standardized and made a lot more nice?
I think the answer to your question is no. We don't want that. And I think that a great way to fix it, and where everyone is happy, is include an invocation system similar to TOAs. TOA has the best system for making a raid party. Because if you don't like something, you can turn it off. If you're raiding with somebody who says something silly, well, it's a lot easier to tell that they're silly at the beginning of the raid. There are some people who say things like, I'm fine with anything. All right, bitch, let me turn on 625 or whatever the fuck. Let's do that. Also, when you do Zabak, I need you to flinch him too. Flinch him, make him do melees. Since you can handle it. Nah, I don't raid with people who say that shit. Oh, I'm fine with whatever. Yeah, all right.
I feel like I'm gonna disagree with you. I actually think that with raids. Invocation systems. First of all, I think the JMods, Mod Kieran in particular, has mentioned like I don't think they're gonna be going down the invocation route as much anymore. Especially like modifiers with Coliseum. I think that was the main example of them kind of saying like, okay, maybe modifiers aren't the way. But yeah,
I think you're right. I just want there to be another raid like Theater of Blood, so the Theater of Blood people will actually just stop talking. I'm really tired of them speaking. People who do Theater of Blood don't like puzzles.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think a lot of the community doesn't like puzzles. I was a big proponent of puzzles years back, but
it's okay. They'll do a clue scroll, but they won't. But they'll do the same clue scroll 500 times, but they get mad when they have to do the Aka puzzle 500 times.
Okay, here's the issue though with so this is my opinion on puzzles. Puzzles I think actually could work. The thing is it's so hard to make a puzzle that feels good.
Agreed. I think the puzzles that we have are terrible, especially the Baba puzzle. It's not even a fucking puzzle. It's basically a boss.
Yeah, it's not fun.
I think if they made
chores
better, yes, they are chores. But I think if they made better puzzles, it would solve the problem. Yeah, everyone would be happier. But if there were better puzzles.
Here's the other problem, though: is now everyone's against puzzles because of the lack of good puzzles. Yeah. Well, it's so much more complicated, in my opinion, than just good puzzles. It's the feeling of them. I mean, as soon as anything becomes a nuisance in any way, like the Aka puzzle, in theory, is kind of cool. Like, ooh, set up these mirrors, but everything's so fucking clunky. It's like you take 2 ticks to like pick up the fucking mirror, another tick to like turn them around. Everything's just unorganized. Like if it was just as simple as running in, and as soon as you have the puzzle down, you do like 20 raids and you've got it figured out. it's just a matter of like going in and your dude's just zooming. It's just boom, 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 boom.
There's very little
Done.
time
You're
saves
in.
in these puzzles as well. Very little time saves in these puzzles.
Yeah, no,
A
it's
puzzle should reward you for going fast, and these puzzles do not. Now, I will admit that I do think that the puzzles we have are dog shit. But that doesn't mean that I think that there should be a top raid again where there's 0 puzzles. But maybe I'm wrong because maybe their track record with puzzles is just so terrible.
that's
Maybe
the issue.
maybe the top people are right.
I think they.
Maybe they should keep talking.
Well, here's the other thing: is Tob for most people that have done all the raids and are at endgame, almost unanimously agree that Tob is the best raid, and Tob honestly has a lot going for it. Like it is a phenomenal raid. I would almost
Talking about maybe you're talking about such a small community that it's like
I know, but yeah, no, and there is that. But the thing is most people when they're talking about raids are high level, and the people like, and I am honestly on board with a raids 4 coming out that doesn't have any puzzles at all.
me too. Me too.
Yeah.
After having this conversation with you, me too. But if they do have puzzles, I pray that they're much better than any puzzle we've ever seen in any quest, much better than any puzzle we've ever seen in any raid. That is interactive and different every time, dynamic, fun, maybe even there's some time saves in it. But if all those boxes aren't checked, then yes, I do agree with the top community that there should be, no puzzle. But I like the idea of going into a dungeon. I like Chambers of Xeric. I want to go spelunking. Tob doesn't feel like a raid. It feels like you're fighting several bosses in a row.
Honestly, for most games, that is a raid. Like that's the definite. I think
Most games should change. Then I think most games should change. This is not World of Warcraft. If I wanted to play that, I would play that. I want puzzles in my RuneScape.
That's totally.
Puzzles is what makes RuneScape incredible. Look at treasure trails. They're incredible. It's a puzzle.
Yeah, people are just at the point though where they and again, I think we both agree on this. If puzzles were made to feel good, it's all about the feeling of them. Literally every single one of the TOA puzzles doesn't feel that good. It just feels like this chore to get to the actual fun boss.
Agreed.
So
Agreed.
That's what's so tough
actually, I like the Kefri. No, I actually like the Kefri puzzles.
The Kefri,
Kefri puzzles are godlike.
Yeah, they did the best on those. The only puzzle I don't like in that is the pillar one, just because.
Okay, yeah, that one's actually ass. But
everything else is so quick. Like they nailed it with just the fluidity. Okay, like boom, boom, boom. Let's go. We're into the next boss room.
Even if you don't use Rune Light, you can solve those puzzles quite quickly.
Yeah,
the first couple days that Tombs of Amaska was out, I'm pretty sure that people were doing it without Rune Light, and they were going quick.